of the best horror movies is finally getting a sequel. The first movie had so many things to love. A captivating narrative, cryptic storytelling, palpable tension, and a lot of heart. While this movie has some pretty big shoes to fill, I gotta say, this preview looks pretty good. Today I wanted to talk about some cool things I noticed in the trailer and discuss why the first movie was amazing. A Quiet Place and Hereditary are tied for my favorite horror movie. Let me know your favorite in the comment section down below. I have a more in-depth breakdown of the first film. If you want to check out that video, the link is in the description. So let's go over the new trailer. I'm Very Berry. If you enjoy this content, like and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you always see my latest content. The trailer begins in an all too familiar store, but before the apocalypse, we get a shot of the iconic rocket, which pulls on our heartstrings. This is such a great way to start a trailer, because it pulls the audience in without revealing too much. We hear explosions and the sounds of chaos in the background. My theory is that maybe these creatures actually come from below. It would make sense why they have incredible hearing but no eyesight. You don't need to see with the lack of light, so save the energy for something else. Plus their claws and body makeup look pretty well equipped to dig underground. Not to mention that in one scene in the new trailer, they show a massive cavern that looks like it was carved out. It could be humans, but it would make sense why everyone is caught off guard by the Death Angels if they came from below the surface. Supposedly, it was a meteorite that crashed that brought the creatures to Earth. However, we don't know how long after the crash the monsters launched their assault, so maybe they were living underground or carving paths for future attack, but this is only speculation. Humans could also use the caverns to travel without being seen by these evil creatures. Marcus, Evelyn, and Reagan set out to share their information on how to defeat these monsters. They take their first step off the dirt path, implying that the monsters have all been cleared out around the Abbot's property. This to me is very admirable, that they would risk their lives to save others. The trailer shows red circles crossed out, showing other colonies who have been wiped out, or potential safe zones. It's also possible that they are looking for a radio tower to broadcast Reagan's earpiece. Her hearing aid could defeat the surrounding Death Angels. This would probably be the best approach, considering the monsters are otherwise invulnerable. If the Abbots could broadcast Reagan's earpiece frequency long range, then the humans can fight back. We get similar themes to the first movie, about losing hope and finding meaning in life. One thing I love about the trailer is how much nonverbal communication there is. This was something I thought was masterful about the first movie, and it seems like the series is sticking to its roots. As the group continues their journey, we get a better understanding of how ravaged the outside world is, dilapidated and worn down. We get some final scenes of the main characters stuck in pretty tense situations, setting the mood for the film perfectly. There are so many things that made the original movie great, but today I wanted to briefly go over a few. One thing that immediately stands out is how well fleshed out and thoughtful the characters are. They care about each other, and try their best to survive given the context. The Abbots are very intelligent, and have a meticulous approach to life, taking every measure possible to stay quiet, giving significance to the title. I know many people complain about some logical inconsistencies. To be fair, this argument is pretty solid. What happens if Jim accidentally farts and the Death Angels do? Or why do they have a baby? But I think it's important to remember that humans aren't perfect creatures. Unlike the Death Angels, who are described as biological perfection, humans make mistakes. Of course, this doesn't handwave the inconsistencies, but I don't think they ruined the movie either, for me at least. Not to mention the performances were otherworldly. Acting non-verbally is a difficult thing to do because the actors and actresses have to convey feelings without words. They don't say I'm scared. They live those feelings with their bodies. Not to mention the subtle storytelling style. A Quiet Place never explicitly tells the audience about the monsters or their motivations. Most of the details about this universe come from the information in the world itself. But the main thing I'm worried about for the second movie is replicating the emotional themes of the first. Not to say that it has to, but for me, this was the most powerful thing about A Quiet Place. We get to see this beautiful story of a family who has suffered from a huge loss, tackling these heavy ideas of love, grief, and finding meaning when humanity is at its end. I'm hoping that as the franchise broadens its world, that it doesn't lose the introspective, humanistic components that elevated the first. All these elements don't sound too compelling on their own, but together, they make the perfect ratatouille. Thanks for checking out this video. Let me know down in the comments your thoughts or theories surrounding A Quiet Place, and where the series is headed next. I'd love to hear from you.